If the universe is dying and we want to live, what would we have to become? Let's start with the obvious. We are made of fragile things. Atoms, cells, consciousness stretched thin across a temporary body. And the universe isn't waiting for us to adapt. It's expanding, cooling, fading. Entropy, the measure of disorder, is always increasing. It's this that limits our lifespans, our machines, and our civilizations. Eventually, entropy will win. Energy will flatten out, stars will die, and all change will grind to stillness. Entropy is the tendency for systems to fall apart, for energy to spread, and for order to unravel. And it doesn't stop, not on its own. As entropy climbs, the universe continues to cool. Structures fall and complexity dissolves. And in the far future, beyond anything we can measure, the cosmos reaches thermal equilibrium. This is what scientists call the heat death of the universe. But we are not there yet. We live in a tiny, miraculous window of time where energy still flows from hot stars to cold space. A universe still rich with structure, contrast, and potential. And if we're lucky, we may have time. A lot of it. If humanity can survive long enough to expand beyond Earth, colonizing other habitable planets, adapting to new environments, and harnessing sustainable energy, then, in theory, we could continue existing for another 100 trillion years or more. That's the approximate timescale over which star formation is expected to decline significantly. After that, new energy sources become scarce, and the universe slowly dims into what's known as the degenerate era. So barring catastrophic cosmic events or self-destruction, and assuming we master interstellar survival, we could ride out the age of stars, which is already an incomprehensibly long chapter in the universe's story. But there's a catch. 100 trillion years is generous, but it's not forever. Because even if we colonize the stars or survive every extinction event, even if we become masters of energy and adaptation, entropy marches on. Entropy unfolds most strictly in closed systems, those that are sealed off with no energy flowing in or out. And though the universe may be infinite in size and have no borders, it behaves as a closed system, with no outside energy to disrupt the balance. But what if trillions of years down the line, through evolutionary and technological advancements, humans discovered a way to break the laws of physics and figured out how to open the system? Could we run entropy backward? What if disorder began to decrease? Would time reverse? Would we unage? Would the dead rise? Not quite. Reversing entropy wouldn't play life in reverse like a video. It would collapse the processes we rely on. Cells would unmake themselves, memory might unravel, and digestion, thought, and even breathing would stop. Not because we were dead, but because life as we know it only works in one direction. We're not just made to survive entropy. We're shaped by it, built to ride its wave, not fight its tide. So if we're serious about surviving the end, we have to think bigger. There is one idea that pushes the limits of our survival, the possibility that our universe isn't all there is. Some theories suggest that what we call everything is only one patch in a much larger quilt, a multiverse. Some speculative models suggest that universes could branch off or collide, or that black holes might act as bridges to something beyond. If such possibilities exist, could other universes be reached? To survive the heat death and leap across universes, we might have to shed everything that makes us human. We might need to become patterns, pure information or self-replicating code, ready to be uploaded into alien avatars, constantly switching realities for all of eternity. And even then, we still wouldn't be safe because entropy would follow. In any universe that plays by similar rules, the clock restarts. But if these other universes somehow obey different physical laws, possess different energy conditions, or operate under entirely separate entropy dynamics, it's unclear whether we could ever build a roadmap through that space, or if it's just a horizon we'll never cross. And if there's a way to migrate, to transfer pattern, structure, and mind into something new, then transformation isn't just about surviving entropy. It may be about finding a foothold in a cosmos far bigger than we can see. Regardless, the multiverse offers an idea that feels both wild and necessary. that the end of this universe might not be the end of existence, but let's say that our reality is all that ever has and ever will exist, and that there's nowhere else for us to go. As the universe winds down, there's one wild card still left in play: us. Because humans don't just observe change, we create it. As entropy climbs and the stars go dark, it's possible we may have just enough time to change ourselves. Not in the way evolution slowly reshapes biology, but in the way we consciously reshape our own limits. The truth is, we still don't fully understand the nature of consciousness or the universe it arises in. Our models evolve, our theories shift, and with every discovery, the boundary between what's possible and what's unknowable blurs just a little more. So when we ask what might remain when everything else fades, we're not just speculating. We're probing the edges of what science could one day reveal. Some researchers and futurists have proposed radical ideas. Upload the mind. Engineer synthetic forms of consciousness, versions of us built to operate on minimal energy, capable of enduring long after biology collapses. It's not just about sidestepping death. It's about widening the scope of what life could be, what awareness could become. And maybe, in the farthest reaches of time, 10 to the 100th power years from now, a number known as a Google, that awareness wouldn't reside in bodies or machines at all. A Google years renders the current age of the universe 13.8 billion years, a mere blink. Maybe, after 100 trillion years of human perseverance, that consciousness would endure as a distributed presence mapped onto the very structure of space itself. Encoded not in flesh or silicon, but in the lasting architecture of reality, in the low-energy particles that still drift across the dark, in the neutrinos that pass unhindered through what's left, or even in the quantum fluctuations that still ripple faintly through the vacuum. In theory, information, conscious experience, could be preserved as patterns within those final carriers, like filaments of thought, interlaced with what remains, no longer alive in the way we understand it, but still present, still aware, woven quietly into the bones of a sleeping universe. But even if we could escape the death of the universe, even if we could upload our consciousness into some infinite substrate unbound by time, entangled across the quantum threads of reality, all we would be is adrift, suspended in a sea of silence, floating endlessly through a universe with no stars, no stories, no struggle. And maybe the real question isn't, could we survive that, but would we want to? Because what's the point of consciousness if there's nothing left to be conscious of? And in that haunting possibility, we find something beautiful. A reason to cherish this chaotic, dazzling moment of existence, where light still dances and every second brims with choices and colors and fleeting, irreplaceable wonders. Not because it lasts forever, but because it doesn't. And perhaps that's what makes now so precious. Not the hope of eternal life, but the miracle of a temporary one. Let me know in the comments what you think the future of humanity looks like.